news and basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience. This is the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast.
NBA, some college, a little bit of everything.
You know, what can I say? But it wasn't going to happen here with him.
All right, welcome into another episode of the Ryan Goodman and Tangway Along for the Ride podcast. And Gary he's out in Kiawah Island in here in Charleston. Bob, I saw him the other day for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
It was good to see him in person.
I know. It's been a while since we've seen each other.
He looks good. He's relaxed. It's hard not to be relaxed when you're on Kiawah. I don't know if you've ever been, but it is beautiful. Beautiful.
Great.
Out about 45 minutes. Beautiful drive. The resort's unbelievable there. I think Gary must be making $1 million on this pod that we don't know about. Maybe we're underpaid. I don't know, but it's gorgeous out there. So he's living the life this week. He'll be back next week with us, but you're stuck with just Bob and myself today. And we're going to go heavy in on the Celtics a little bit here and also talk about Michael Porter Jr.'s comments about gambling. We'll hit on Pat Riley's statue and maybe even talk a little bit about with the changing landscape of NBA on TV and the different networks. We might get Bob to go with his favorite announcers of all time. Remember, we are presented by PrizePicks as always, and CLNS network here, run by one Nick Gelso, has done an unbelievable job. But let's get to it, Bob. The Boston Celtics will be led by none other than Jaylen Brown this year because of the injury to Jason Tatum. I have long said I don't think Jaylen Brown is the number one guy, can be the number one guy for a really good team, for a contending team. Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't. And I like him. He's fine. He's a wonderful player. And all that, but I agree. There's a level of hierarchy, if you will. Yeah. There's a level in all sports, and he's at the next level. A very good level, but he's not at that level. I don't think. Just a chance to prove everybody wrong. That's no problem. Interesting among the people who weighed in, and I trust it was in direct response to a question that he wasn't seeking a confrontation, was Bob Cousy was interviewed by Dan Shaughnessy on the event of his 97th birthday last week. And
Bob, pick up your head. Go.
Oh, yeah. Yep, he was interviewed by by Dan Shaughnessy, and Coos, who by the way is 97 and in 100% of his faculties. Trust me on this.
Unbelievable. Yes.
No, it's a trade-off. He's in a wheelchair basically with a perfect mind. Trade-off I'll sign up for right now. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, he said he doubts that Tatum's absence is going to take them down a significant notch, and the Brown is not capable. Is not that guy. He's not that level. Well, naturally there's a blowback. From youngins. Who's the old guy? What's he talking about?
Right. He doesn't know. He's 97. He looks old. So
but he's on record now, and I agree with him, and you agree with him. We agree with him. I think they're going to be lucky to be in that 7-8 mix. That's all.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fortunate to avoid the play-in. I really do. And again, you go back to it, and Jaylen Brown, if he's the number one guy with Jason Tatum, with Derek White, you'd say, okay, maybe, right? If he's the focal point, which he wasn't the focal point in the NBA Finals, everybody will push back and say, well, he won NBA Finals MVP. He did, but not as the guy, that you're game planning against. Now he will be number one on the scouting report. And I just remember, I'm not going to say who the player was, but right before the Celtics flipped this thing, before they had obviously Drew Holiday and Derek White, right before they got Derek White, I think it might have been the year prior. I was talking to a guy who's played in the league for a long time, all-star. And he said to me off the record, this team is so easy to game plan for. All they have is Tatum and Jaylen Brown and nobody else. And now I feel like all they have, I hate to say it, kind of, is Jaylen Brown and Derek White and nobody else right now. And that's not even, again, Tatum, like Derek White is not Jason Tatum. Derek White is awesome if he's your third, fourth, fifth option.
Yeah. Right.
But now it's everybody game planning on Jaylen Brown, and we see what that is. His handle still isn't great. He's not terrific in the half court, especially now you're going to double team. Teams will probably do it and double team him.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. He's and now, and he has occasional delusions of grandeur, I think, and But by the way, I would call that playoff MVP the Iguodala Award.
Yeah,
and that's one of the great, by the way, oddities in the history of the NBA, if not the greatest NBA Finals. And I'm not putting him down. I'm happy for him. We like him. He's a wonderful. But the idea that he on that team of all people got an MVP in the finals tells you. But I think it underscores what you were just saying about Brown. So that's how we got it. So anyway, all right. So we got that. That's all. We got that issue, and that's not going to change at all.
What do you want to see from this team this year? If I asked you one thing, because I'm not going to say it's a throwaway year, but it's a year you got to put your expectations in order here. Of hey, if they
pick your adjective, I'll call it transition.
Yeah.
And now because we're all counting on Tatum coming back 100% in 26, 27, and any citing him on the court in 25, 26 is a bonus, and we'll be leery of it. But it's not like the old days when Achilles was a death sentence. Particularly, right. You can do it, and it's been done, and we've got proof. So anyway, that's all. Yeah, I'm looking for. I wanted to see what it's going to be additional pressure on Pritchard, for example.
Yeah.
And he flourished last year in a perfect role for him, and no longer now. He's have to advance up the food chain, and there could be more attention on him than it usually is. And so we'll see if is he capable of maintaining that level of play when he's more of a focal point. I don't know.
For me, it's Simons. I think Simons is the guy that I think twofold. Number one, if they keep him, which we'll see, right. It's let's evaluate this young player and see if we've got a guy that we can keep. And then you've got Tatum next year, Brown, White, Simons, and you're basically in need of a big, right? So I think it's evaluating Simons and seeing if you want to keep him as part of your core. If not, and early on you say to yourself, we're not really sold on him, but we got to get his numbers up so we can trade him. And maybe you can even trade him a month or two into the season for a big, for a capable big.
Excuse me, it's a foregone conclusion among so many people in the league that they are going to trade him, but they've never given that indication. It's just an assumption is that people sit back and study the roster, study their situation, and know him, and the fact that he is a one-dimensional player so far. And he's a piecing. His defense has not shown up yet very much, but he is a scorer, and he's getting more comfortable in that role every year. And so he can be a valuable asset to some team off the bench for sure. And if that's the case, as a instant offense guy, but right now that's all he is, and as an instant offense guy.
Yeah, I mean he's a guy that can, certainly help. We'll see if he can be more than that this year, just because of necessity. Somebody's gonna have to score.
Yeah.
And
of course, Hauser's still here. So same thing I said about Pritchard. We'll say about Hauser. He had a pretty good year last year, and we know what he is. But we'll see if he's still here. Now there are people still assuming that he won't be here, but I hope he is. I like him. And
the Celtics also added to their big men collection over the last week. They signed Chris Boucher, who has played in Toronto in his career. He played with Pritchard. Believe I remember those teams at the University.
They overlapped for a year.
Yeah, they overlapped for a year. Boucher's he's an athlete. He's long. He blocks shots. He can run. He actually, to me, probably. I mean, he's the most proven by far. He's played 350 NBA games. So today, you probably look at Boucher and say, like, he's your starting center. He's your starting center because he's fighting with the likes of, Neemias Queta, Zach Tillman,
Luke Carson,
Luka Garza, who we know is a star in college at Iowa, who hasn't really gotten off the bench in the NBA his couple of years there. And then Amari Williams, who they just drafted out of the University of Kentucky in the second round. So the competition is not exactly stifling here for Chris Boucher to try to beat out.
Yeah. And it's a different league now. The positionless player league, the bigs, as you have bigs, you don't have fives and fours the way we did in the heyday. So it's a different week, and you're many nights he's going to be up against guys who won't be outsized or anything else. So it can work in this modern NBA theoretically.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's 32 years old. He gives you the one vet. I'm assuming they're just stockpiling bigs at this point and saying, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do. We'll throw them all in training camp and see who comes out of there. I assume Missoula will end up rotating them throughout the season if this is what they stick with. But again, I think Simons is the one guy who holds some sort of value that could, in return, get you a big. And then you're going in with a starting five. It's not overwhelming, but you go in with a Derek White, Pritchard backcourt, Hauser, Jaylen Brown, and then you get somebody else up front who can play. And you see what you got with Shireman coming off you got some pieces off the bench that you kind of see what you have. Obviously, the kid they drafted, Hugo, in the first round. See what you have. Play him a lot. Play him a lot this year and see what you have out of him because, again, I don't think you're going to be playing for much other than the only thing I keep pushing back to myself on there, Bob, is who's that good in the East that you're like, hey, they're going to be overmatched. I mean, I know we got Detroit as an up-and-coming team, but you're telling me this Celtics team should be overmatched by the Detroit Pistons? I love Cade. If you're telling me who I'm going to take, Jaylen Brown or Cade Cunningham, I'm taking Cade every day, all day. But again, you just look at this Detroit team and you're like, well, this Celtics team should be able to compete with the Pistons, should be able to compete with this Pacers team without Halliburton, should be able to compete with Milwaukee with just Giannis and not a whole lot else. Like, who else other than,
Cleveland
and the Knicks?
They did win 64.
Yes, Cleveland and the Knicks, you're not going to be as good as. You're not going to be. Those are the two that, on paper, and what they've done last year, look like they should be fighting again for the Eastern Conference title.
Yes, I totally agree to that. Once again, I have my eye on Orlando because I'm now infatuated.
Yeah, Orlando's going to be good too. Thank you. Yes, you're right. Yep, absolutely.
Etc. And they pick up your guy Tyus Jones
and Bane. Desmond Bane will help.
Desmond Bane. So I'd put them up in that, knocking on that door with the Knicks and the Cavaliers. No, it's not great. It's not historical greatness at all. And the Knicks have a lot to prove. They got a new coach, etc. So it's not that, but they're not in that category. They're in they'll be in that other mix, and we'll see. We'll see. Good to see that Joe's going to have to coach him up a little bit.
Okay, quick timeout from Bob. Get back to it in a minute. PrizePicks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less and at least two players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. And they have invented Flex Play, which is exactly as it sounds. It's flexible, which means if you can still cash out of your lineup if it isn't perfect, and you can double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes, and it's always good to get that cash. Every Tuesday, PrizePicks will discount several projections on the board, usually by 15% to 25%. So sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play 5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. So we all know baseball season coming down the home stretch. What do you think's happening? So you can just go game by game. You just pick more or less. Ohtani, more than 5 strikeouts, more than 6 strikeouts, less than 10 strikeouts, more than 2 RBI. He's a fun guy to play, obviously. Bo Bichette, more or less than 3 hits. What do you think? Log on and try and play the game with PrizePicks. Again, just pick more or less. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. For those listening to this show, we ask that you subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. For those watching the show on CLNS, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the Celtics All Access YouTube channel, where you can find our show and a lot of other great Celtics content. Also, please make sure to turn on your notifications so you know the instant a new video drops. All right, let's get back to the show.
Would you rather, all right, if I gave you two scenarios, which would you rather right now? Would you rather the Celtics have an injury early to one of Brown or Derek White? Nothing major, but just something, they're off to a 10-10 start, let's say, and you have the option of one of those guys getting hurt and being out for the next month, and then maybe being shut down after that if you're not good. Would you rather that and get in the back half of the lottery, which is probably what you do at that point? You're not going to get in 1 through 5, but let's say you're somewhere between 7 and 14, somewhere in that back end of the lottery, which, by the way, like Dallas got in the back half of the lottery and they did just fine for themselves this year. Or would you rather, hey, we're going to get, 6, 7 seed, maybe be in the play-in, maybe get maybe be on the road for a first round matchup and get knocked out right away?
With the idea that Tatum's coming back next year?
Yes.
I'd rather do the latter than the former. I'd rather do it than a quasi tank, if you will. I'll definitely go for that. Because there's no great guarantee in the back half of the lottery or anything.
No, nope.
No,
it's not. But you could get fortunate.
You could get lucky.
Dallas.
If you're not a conspiratorial theorist, you accept that Dallas got lucky.
Totally. I'm going to give you another name I saw last week. I don't know if we talked about this kid, but we've talked about the top players in this draft. The A.J. DeBonces out of Brockton, the Darren Peterson Jr. kid who's 6'5". He's awesome at Kansas, combo guard. Cam Boozer at Duke, 6'10". He's a double-double machine, produces every single night. Nate Ament, kid down at Tennessee, who's got a Kevin Durant body. I'm going to keep drilling these guys into you, Bob, so you know who they are.
Yeah, really. I got to have to. I do need to get educated on this matter, yes.
Those are the 4 I've told you about over and over. So DeBonce, BYU, Peterson, Kansas, Boozer with his twin brother who's a point guard. So Cam is a 6'10" guy. His brother is a point guard. They'll play together at Duke this year. Ament, 6'10", Tennessee, kind of a Kevin Durant type body and a Kevin Durant type player, but not Kevin Durant, obviously. Mm-hmm. I'm going to add one to the mix. I'm going to give you 5 guys that I'm going to keep drilling into you all year. Mikel Brown Jr. I just saw him in Charlotte last week. He is a point guard at Louisville, freshman. Mm-hmm. He's 6'3". He's long. He's rangy. He can shoot it. He was on the under 19 team just now a month ago. DeBonce won the MVP for the U.S. They won gold.
Yeah.
But it should have been Brown. It should have been Brown. He was the best player on that team, and he is going to be the one to bring Louisville back to what Louisville fans want them to be, which is a Final Four contender. He's that good. And, man, you talk about a kid that just, like, you sit down and talk to this kid, too, and you're like, holy crap, he could have a conversation for an hour with us without blinking. Like, he is that articulate, he's that mature, and his game is that way as well. Like, he's awesome. So Mikel Brown Jr., that's the name I'm getting you to add on to DeMonza, Peterson, Boozer, Ament, and now Mikel Brown Jr. So write him down. And for everybody listening, those are your 5 guys, if you're a big-time NBA fan, that you need to pay attention to out of the gate this year in college basketball. Okay. All right, let's get to Michael Porter Jr.'s comments, which he was talking about a lot of things, including his vice. His vice is women, by the way. He admitted that, which he's not the only one in the NBA. I've known Michael Porter Jr. and his family a long time. Extremely likable kid if you get to know him. They're different. The whole family is different. They got, 3 or 4 women who have played college basketball at a high level, 3 or 4 brothers who have played basketball at a high level. His brother Jonte was banned from the NBA in 2024 for his role in a gambling scheme. Basically, what he did was he took himself out of a couple games a couple years ago to help out these other people, these other associates who had bet on the under on his stats.
Under on his prop bet.
Yes.
And Michael, his brother, is saying he thinks this is not an isolated incident in the future. Yeah. And he worries about it. And the concept and the way he framed it was perfect for me to understand why he is so specific about it.
Go ahead.
That you take guys who aren't the high rollers,
yep,
and they want to help out the homies, yep, and the homie by saying, "You look, put the money down, yep, and I'll keep the I'll get out of the game. I'll take care of the under for you.
I'll get hurt.
Yeah,
I'll come up with a phantom injury
and make some money for my buddies." Wow, that's sobering. That's scary. But I have to figure he knows what he's talking about.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
that you know,
well, it's easy. It's easy for a guy like that, and that's why they want to eliminate prop bets in college. Bob, here's an example of what happens in college. So they have an over under for total points in each half. Okay, so what happens in college? What has happened, from what I've been told, is they'll tell the players, get a couple players at low major schools to take the under basically on the first half, which means miss shots early. Do not make shots. They're basically telling them you can still win the game and you're going to win the game, but basically miss some shots early so the score is low and it's the under in the first half. Get a couple players on board with this. And again, like Michael Porter Jr. said, might be your boys, or it might be lower level gamblers. It's not going to be the high end guys, probably.
Yeah.
But again, these guys are susceptible to anything. I mean, especially think about that. You're getting Jonte Porter, who's an NBA player who's making real money. Think about doing it with college and these kids who are making, at the lower level of college, who are making no money. If you're going to those guys and saying, "Hey, we need you to miss some shots in the first half, and we'll give you $1,000."
Yeah, no question. And then while we're on the subject, we were reminded about Rozier.
Yes.
And the fact that 2 years in 2023, somebody made 46 bets on him and had to do with the under.
Right.
And he's involved in 2 games, suspicious games. No, it's.
I wonder if they should just get rid of these prop bets. Well, and I don't know if they will or can, because it brings in too much revenue for obviously the gambling companies.
No, I mean,
but I wonder if it needs to be banned for the integrity of the games.
Well, I mean, I think the league would. I mean, you'd think they'd like to wave their magic wand, and so they'll never have discussions like this anywhere anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you and I would love to ban it, right? Like it'd be easy. We don't care.
I don't care, but I don't care. And no, I mean, I don't care at all. But it's out there. I'm aware. I'm not naive. I understand how huge it is, and how enticing it is for so many people. I'm just not one of them.
All right. So on February 21st, the Lakers are going to unveil a statue of Pat Riley. He'll join the likes of Kareem, Magic, and Kobe with having a statue outside in LA there. It's going to be against the Celtics, which is fitting.
Well, that's not coincidental.
Yeah.
I mean, the Celtics, they're wedded at the hip, the 2 teams, and their historical impact, having won over 40% of the championships in the league combined since 1946. Yeah. That's who the Celtics and Lakers are. They are the royalty and of the league. And anyway, yeah, Riles deserves it for them, what he did for them.
Yeah.
And that marvelous decade of the 80s. And, it's.
Should he have stayed, Bob? Bob, should he have stayed in LA? Like what?
Oh, well, no. he goes. He had further success.
He did.
He didn't go all the way in New York, but he got him to a finals. And then look at Miami. I mean, he's obviously knows what he's doing. And
I know, but LA, he had it rolling. Like they were so good, Bob.
Yeah. Well, remember that group didn't win right after post Kareem until they got, built up. I mean, he wasn't going to help them win right away post Kareem. They got to a finals, and Magic, with Vlade Divac, but they weren't able to win. And then finally, when Shaq showed up and they had the full complement, it was back, winning championships again. I think he just loved. Yeah, he obviously loves both the locales. I'm thinking, no question. And for a guy from Schenectady, he certainly turned out to be a glamour-seeking guy. But I like him. I've always liked him, and he was always good with us. I thought he was terrific, and so it's nice. I'm happy for Pat and his statue.
All right. Last but not least, the NBA is all over the place now with its TV package, right? I can't even keep track. I'd love to tell you right now, I know where everything is going to be on. Yeah. I honestly have no idea now where to find some of these games, right? I think Peacock and NBC have some games. ESPN's got some games. Turner does not have games anymore.
You have to go through it on a daily basis. But it's revenue. It's incredible. It's frustrating that it makes it so hard for a lot of average people to find a game. It's same.
You're gonna have trouble. Hey, Bob. I hope Elaine's got you already signed into Peacock.
It's true in baseball. Well, no, yeah, I know. We're going to have to. I can't keep track right now. But no, it's a way of the times. It's the money. Ultimately, everybody gets rich, and even meanwhile, the poor fan, because the average person's trying to find a stupid game. Same true in baseball. We got the packages on Friday night and Sunday night, and all that. We've gone through it here in Boston, and everybody's going through it, trying to find a game. Wait a minute, it's not on my regular channel. Not on that. It's not on this. It's on Roku. What's Roku? We had that. We went through that last week, a week before last. So, yeah, it's the way it's unfortunate. Yeah.
So NBC, all right, NBC's gonna and Peacock, they've added a bunch of analysts. I'll read you off who they have. Brad Daugherty, Derek Fisher, my guy Robbie Hummel, Austin Rivers, and Scal are all guys that can jump. And then they'd already announced Jamal Crawford, who's going to be terrific, Reggie Miller, Grant Hill, Mike Tirico, Noah Eagle. I think who else is doing it? Terry Gannon, the play-by-play voices. So I ask you, because I was watching it, I don't know, I was flipping through and I saw some old game on. It was maybe a Sixers Celtics game the other day, and Dick Stockton. And I was like, man, I miss that voice. That to me was NBA. Like when I heard Dick Stockton, I felt like, okay, I grew up with Dick Stockton as the NBA voice. There's some good commentators now, but I don't know, like I feel like it's just different than it was with Dick Stockton and Marv Albert and some of the guys they had. Give me the ultimate NBA team, if you will, with a play-by-play and an analyst.
I mean, the one that actually existed, or the one my all-star team.
Both.
My all-star. Well, that's a good question. I can't tell you my all-time favorite network necessarily team at all, but I can tell you that I think Marv is still the gold standard of and because the thing is TV and radio, but and TV is different. But Marv's the gold standard. Chick Hearn, by the way, in LA, in his prime, it was always a color man was superfluous. Chick could handle the whole thing, and there was nobody quite like Chick in that regard. But my favorite analyst, and it's just you wonder what goes through people's minds at networks that they canned him, is Jeff Van Gundy.
I know.
I'm
with you.
Was so good because he was the ultimate rarity. He thought as a coach and a fan, he related to both in a way that he related to the coaching thing that we couldn't, and he related to the fan thing as we do. And there was never anybody that combined it as well as he did. And to think that they thought that he was, and they kept the other guy, Mark Jackson. Stop it.
No, they got rid of Mark Jackson too.
Right. But at one point they originally, right?
Well, anyway, and then they got rid of
put him down. Jeff was So good.
Awesome.
I don't understand what the possible and I said at the time, I said this like 10 or 12 years ago. I said when there was his name was always hanging out there as a coach.
Yeah.
Again, it's always hanging out there. Any vacancy came up, Jeff Van Gundy, of course, was sitting there and logical to throw his name out. I said, I hope the guy stays what he's doing. He's serving countless more people doing what he's doing than he would if he goes and coaches for one specific team. He's serving the public. He was so good at what he did. So
I wonder if they just got rid of him because he was too real and would be critical, and they just
might have said things that they didn't like, I guess.
I assume it's that, because I don't know what else it could have been, because I'm with you. I think Jeff and his brother Stan, they're both phenomenal. Phenomenal. Because again, they're funny. They know the game. They're going to be real. They do the work. Like I see Stan all the time. He does, he'll do games for the NCAA tournament, and I'll see him, and I'll tell him, like, I hate most of you guys that come over that really don't watch college, and you come over for the NCAA tournament. But Stan does the work. Like, he does the preparation. You can see it, and you can tell when you listen to him. So I would have put Jeff and Stan together. If ESPN, if somebody was smart, but Jeff is now with the Clippers.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he likes coaching again. But man, imagine that if you had, I don't care who the play-by-play guy is.
I mean, basketball's answer to the Mannings.
Yes. They would be awesome together.
One other guy that I really, and I said I may have to recuse myself because we've been friendly for over 50 years, but Hubie Brown. Yeah. I loved Hubie. I loved Hubie. And he had that I love his sense of humor. People, you have to realize he had a very good sense of humor.
91 years old. He retired. 91.
Another person, very sharp. But I thought Hubie was great. So.
All right. Well, there you have it. A fairly brief episode today, but things will start picking up here soon, Bob. We'll have plenty to talk about. It's been a fairly long off season, but training camp starts up sooner than you think.
I can hear those balls bouncing in the distance. Okay.
But again, remember, Mikel Brown Jr., that was your tip today.
I got it. I got it starred on my notepad here.
Mark them down. Again, we are presented by PrizePicks here at CLNS Media. For Bob, I'm Jeff Goodman. We'll see you next week with Gary Tangway, and have a great weekend.